Flip, 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 Flip Weekly.
Hello and welcome to the Flip Weekly podcast. My name is Matt. I am your host. This is a podcast all about reselling. We go to thrift stores, garage sales, Facebook Marketplace. We try and find items we can resell for a profit. Now, I've got a huge episode for you this week. We're going to be talking about one of the biggest 90s Goosebumps Marketplace haul that I've ever seen before in my life. I got half of this shit for free. You're not going to believe it. You're especially not going to believe when I tell you how much this is worth and what I'm going to be doing with these. I'm not selling them on eBay. I have a surprise for you. Stay tuned to the end so I can tell you about that. I'm also going to talk to you about a Vinnie's pickup I paid $18 for. It sold in 10 days for $500. I'm also going to talk to you about how I might have been scammed out of $450 thanks to this bitch on Facebook Marketplace. I've got a big episode for you, so let's just get straight into it. So we have hit the jackpot, and I'm not saying that lightly. We have hit the motherfucking jackpot. And this is really going to be a marketplace pickup that is proof that you don't always need to be number one. You just need to get lucky with some basic information. And here's the thing, I came across this marketplace listing over an hour after it had gone live. The listing said 88 Goosebump books. It was priced at $100 and it was only 5 kilometers up the road. This is a random weekday at 1 p.m. And, you know, my immediate thought is, I don't want to be outlaying $100 for 88 Goosebumps books. But then, you know, I'm starting to think, if I saw these in a thrift store for what's essentially $1 per book, would I buy every single one of them? And the answer is yes. You know, you're in Savers, you're in Vinnie's, you're in Salvos. Most of these Goosebumps books are going to be priced anywhere from, you know, $2 to $3 each, if not more. You know, I think Savers prices their Goosebumps at $3.49. So to get them for $1 each, that's going to be a massive, massive bargain. So there were 6 photos that were attached to the listing, and they weren't organized in any specific order. You know, we had the original series and some of the spin-offs, but because I know that there are 62 books to complete the original series, we've sold this before, we've talked about Goosebumps before, and we know that, and those books can sell on a good day for over $500. I'm thinking, look, I'm getting 88 of them. I'm not going to sit around and count each and every one. They're just the covers on the photos. They're not the spine. You can't see the numbers. I'm just going to take a gamble. I sent through a message. I'm not analyzing the photos. Hi, is this available? Yes, it is. Great. Put it on pending. I'm going to come out to you. Now, one of the first reasons why I wanted to snap this up, besides hoping to get the full OG set worth over $500, was on the basis that maybe, just maybe, there would be a bookmark or a postcard inside the books, because collectors go absolutely crazy for that sort of stuff, even though it's literally just cheap cardboard. You know, you can get some of the bookmarks on eBay for around $10, $20, $30. I'm looking at sold listings right now. A single bookmark, Goosebumps Reading is a Scream of the Green Skeleton, $9.50. There's one here that's Goosebumps You Can't Scare Me. It's just the bookmark, $23.74. Now, this isn't money that's going to make you rich. However, if you can find a Goosebumps book with the original bookmark inside of it, or maybe the stickers, maybe the postcard, you can command a higher price. Now, with that said, I'm looking at sold listings here. Goosebumps number 50 with the original inserts inside of it, $142. And you know what? That was marked down from a ridiculous asking price of $474. I don't know what these cunts were smoking. There's another one there, book 62, Monster Blood 4. Obviously, the later you get in the Scholastic series, the more money you can ask for, because people just end their subscriptions. A lot of people start off with the right intention. I'm going to read every single one of these. I'm going to buy every single one of these. We're going to start from 1, go all the way to 62. By the time it gets to, you know, 20, 30, most people have lost interest, right? If you can get these later books with the bookmarks, you can get a lot of money on eBay. So the seller has marked it as pending for me, and I ask if I can come out. You know, it's the middle of a weekday. Everyone else is at work. I'm doing fucking nothing because I'm useless. They say they're not at home. That's fine. You know, that's how marketplace works. Most people are at work. They say that I can pick up at 6 p.m. And, that's fine with me. I have said before, I hate going to marketplace pickups after 5. You get the traffic. It's the time when you're trying to wind down. But you know what? To make any sort of money, you need to be willing to sort of go with the flow, right? And I am so glad that I did. I think at one point in time, I thought, well, I can't be fucked to go out there at 6 o'clock at night. I mean, it's 5 kilometers up the road, but I'm lazy, man. And I'm just thinking I can't be bothered to drive 5 kilometers up the road. I'm so glad that I did. You know why? Because they said something to me that got me extremely excited. I'm going to read it verbatim. They said, "Are you a Goosebumps fan or collector? I have a second box full of other collectible Goosebumps stuff if you're interested. Could just throw them in with the books. Trying to clean house." Are you fucking kidding me? I have a second box full of other collectible Goosebumps stuff if you're interested. This to me, this is a payday. I'm going to take these sight unseen. I'm going to thank this cunt profusely before I even get out there. Oh, you're so generous. Oh, you're so kind. You're doing me a massive favor. Not because I'm a Goosebumps collector. You're doing me a favor because I'm going to take these items. I'm going to sell them for a fucking profit. So I get out there, park the car, go inside. He brings out the first old, dusty, literally a fruit box. I take the lid off and I can see all of these Goosebumps books, all 88 of them packed in there. The dust on these boxes made me think that this was from, his childhood. And it turns out it was. This guy lived in America. He came back home to help his mum sell the house, or to help, clean up the house, move everything, get rid of some stuff. These were his as a kid. And he's willing to let them go for $100. And then he brings out the second box. In the original Facebook message, when he said he had another box full of collectibles, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, it might be one or two things. It might be, I don't know, a Goosebumps movie cinema cup. Something not worth much money. He brings out the second box. It is just the same size as the first one. A huge fruit box covered in dust. He's like, take a look. I take off the lid. This thing is chock fucking block full of Goosebumps shit. There is so much fucking stuff in this box. I could barely hold in my excitement, man. I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, this is my childhood right here. I remember the Scholastic book fairs. I remember begging. I mean, I didn't really beg my parents for Goosebumps stuff. I wasn't a reader as a kid. I used these books to make it look like I was reading, but I'm very familiar with them, so they are my childhood, just, the fake childhood, if that makes sense. So I'm looking at this box. There is so much in there. I can see one thing straight off the top of my head that I've sold before, and it was my fastest ever eBay sale. It took 16 minutes to sell. I can see it sitting on top of this box. I don't know if you'll remember. I don't think I was recording the podcast at the time, but if you're a reader of flipweekly.com, you're going to know what this is. It's the hand puppet or the finger puppet of Slappy from Goosebumps. That sold back in the day for me in 16 minutes for $29 plus postage. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, well, this thing's going to sell fast. I know there's at least maybe 40, 50 bucks in this hand puppet. Not to mention, I get home later on and I look these comps up and they've gone fucking up. The minimum you can get this thing on eBay now is $59. So this shit has skyrocketed in value. But at the time I was looking at it, I was like, well, this is going to make me a bit of money. I can see, through the cracks in the box that there's another one of these hand puppets. I can just see so much shit. I needed help to take it to the fucking car. And I would never ask for help from Facebook Marketplace. I'm so fucking awkward in these interactions that I just want to get out of there. I don't want that conversation back to the car. He gets to open up my boot and see all the shit in my car, judge me for all my purchases. Anyway, that was just one item. So I get this in the car. I'm driving home. I'm so excited. I think I said this to you in the podcast episode last week that I was going out there, right? I needed to quickly finish the podcast because I was going out. Well, I came back. I was so excited that I did the whole delaying gratification thing. I thought, I'm going to edit last week's podcast, and then I'm going to go through this box and I'm going to see what's in there. I'm going to comp it up. I'm going to have like this nostalgic night. And all the meanwhile, I've completely forgotten about the Goosebumps books, man. I'm too focused on the collectibles that the thing that I originally went out there for and paid $100 for has just completely gone over my head, even though if I get the full set, it's worth a lot of money. Now, obviously on this podcast, you cannot see photos of everything that I bought. I'm going to put up a video on social media. If you want to see photos, you can go to flipweekly.com, check out the newsletter. But man, oh man, there is so much stuff. And this stuff is some of the coolest 90s shit I've ever seen before in my life. When I was going through this, literally my childhood, man. And it wasn't just surface level Goosebumps stuff. Like, it wasn't just the very popular hand puppet or a pencil case. This guy was in deep with Goosebumps. When I say in deep, this cunt cut out the Goosebumps logo from chip packets. Just the logo. He has like 8 of those things. So he didn't do it just once and think, this is a bit weird. He went and did it 2, 3, all the way up to 8 more times. 8 times to cut out from a fucking chip packet. And knowing this guy, he probably cleans the inside as well. I mean, I don't smell any sort of like Cheeto dust or whatever on the inside foil. So this guy was absolutely incest. He was obsessed. He was fucking obsessed. Man, to say he liked Goosebumps, absolute understatement of the century. There's magazines with interviews with R.L. Stine. There's newspaper cutouts where Goosebumps is mentioned. There's posters, there's collectibles, there's stationery, there's pencil cases, there's pens, there's erasers, there's clothing, there's fucking everything, man. This box was stacked so deep that when I would take one thing out, the box didn't even look like it was going down. And then you pull out, like I said, the pencil case, and I like shake it a bit, and I open it up. Everything is just Goosebumps. There was not a single non-Goosebumps thing in this pencil case. Like you would expect if you're taking this to school, you might have some, Bic pens, or you might have like a HB pencil in there that isn't Goosebumps. No, every single fucking thing was Goosebumps. It was never ending. It was honestly never ending. I was having the most fun in my life going through this fucking box. I was looking up some of these items on eBay every now and then. But the truth is that some of this stuff is so incredibly rare that it's never showed up on eBay. And when I say that, I mean no active listings, no sold listings, nothing on a valuer, nothing on WorthPoint. Even when I Google what this item is, absolutely fucking nothing. And it makes sense, right? For example, the chip packet cutouts. What other kid is going to be eating their chips and cutting this shit out? You know what I mean? There is just so much rare shit that you can't even get comps for. Goosebump collectors would have never seen this stuff. Like there's a poster in there in perfect condition from the Sunday Telegraph in 1996. There's a Velcro wallet that's in perfect condition. There's a t-shirt. There's a cap. There's a fucking yo-yo. I'm not even kidding, there's order forms. So while most kids at school, when they get the Scholastic book catalog, they're filling it out, they're circling everything that they want. This cunt was pulling that order form out. Oh, I shouldn't say pulling. He was precisely cutting it out and storing it away in perfect condition. And man, there are binders, Goosebumps binders. Inside the binders, A4 books. They're not just regular A4 books. They're Goosebumps A4 books. And as you can imagine, you're a kid. What are you going to do inside those books? You're going to draw that fucking popular S figure? No, this kid didn't do that. This kid kept those books in perfect condition. Not a single page missing. What on earth is going on, man? This guy's put them in a box, put them in his cupboard, never touched them again. The dust is proof. So I'm going through there, and again, I've completely forgotten about the books. And then I go through them one by one. I'm arranging them sequentially. I'm thinking to myself, there's a decent number of the original series. There's a few spin-off ones here. And then I turn the books on the side so I can read the numbers. And I start counting. I go from 1, 2, 3, all the way up to fucking 62 without missing a single book. This is the complete set of Goosebumps. This guy has sold all of this to me for $100. These books alone, looking at sold comps right here, $580 plus postage, $580 free postage. This gamble has paid off. We're going to be turning $100 into an insane amount of money. And let's just think about the books. If we wanted to right now, $100 into $500, you know they're going to sell. It's very hard to get a complete set of Goosebumps, especially in Australia. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it's not impossible. It's just, it takes time to find the complete series. So then we think, well, what about all this other collectible stuff? What is that going to be worth? So what I do, I decide to create an itemized list. That's right. We have a couple of columns here. We have the item, we have the approximate value, and we have the third column is research. And that's because we can either choose to use a sold comp if there is one, an active listing if there is one, or just my educated guess. Because when it comes to this shit, like I said, very rare, impossible to find. So we have to base it on other items. You know, if it's, for example, a poster, you can't find the exact poster. You can't even find a Goosebumps poster in this good a condition. Look to another pop culture item from around that time. That is a poster. What did that sell for? Weigh that up against the Goosebumps market and just like come up with a rough figure, right? Now, the other reason that I created this itemized list is because I'm not going to be selling this one by one on eBay. I was sending this itemized list to somebody else. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But first, I'm just going to run through some of these items, some of the value, just so you can understand. Because look, this podcast is not a visual medium. I'm just going to tell you what they are. If anything pops up about this item, I'll tell you about it too. So first of all, we have curly inflatable tombstone. Now this is a blow up tombstone. It looks like a Halloween decoration. I could only find one sold comp in the past, forever. And that sold for $350. This was a promo item. Or that's what the last listing said. This was a promo item. $350 just for a blow-up tombstone. We have the complete book series 1 to 62. That value is $500. Now we have a shrunken head puppet, $50. 1996 calendar and a 1997 calendar. Now the 96 calendar, if it had the original poster and stickers, would be worth a lot of money. This one about $20. However, the 1997 calendar came with this thing called the magic window. And the magic window would go over the images and you could move it and make the images animate. The calendar came with that magic window. That is a $100 item for a calendar that is severely out of date. But of course, this kid never wrote in it. We have a voice-changing haunted mask. Now, this is a toy still within its box. There's a mask. There's a little electronic device that comes with it. Chuck some batteries in. And apparently it can change your voice. This is worth $200. The next thing, the binder, $50. A4 book, $20. Pencil case, $30. Velcro wallet, a sold comp, $70. There's a hat. There's a t-shirt. There's all of these miscellaneous books. There's Pogs with slammers. There's an audio book, like a cassette tape with the original box. There are Glow Zone Goosebumps stickers. I remember having these as a kid. Well, not Goosebumps Glow Zone, but different Glow Zone. You stick them on the wall, they glow in the dark, so fucking cool. And of course, all of the stickers are inside. $50. Hand finger puppet, $100. There's 3 of them. There wasn't just Slappy, there was 3 of these cunts. There's the PC game, there's a mouse pad. There's the reading light, a pencil topper that by itself has a sold comp for $30. This thing can't be more than 5 centimeters tall. There's the yo-yo, $50. There's party invitations, 25 party invitations. And you best believe this kid didn't have friends, so they're all there. There's more bookmarks. There's a puzzle. There's key rings. Now, this key ring is really fucking cool. It's one of those ones where you squeeze it. It has like the gel inside with a minifigure. So you squeeze it and it's like head pops out. There's a pencil sharpener that has a sold comp for $50. There's an Enter If You Dare poster that has a sold comp for around $100. There's a show bag, there's stickers, the chip packets, the order form, a party mask, a pin, a paint tube, And then there's just so much miscellaneous stuff that you just cannot put a price on. This is stuff that very, very hardcore collectors would buy because you would never see it again. I'm not kidding. You would literally never see this stuff again because nobody would keep it. Nobody in the entire world would keep this shit. It is so obscure, so random that you would be the only one that owns it. Now, I know this is a lot of data to process. This is so much just coming at you here. Again, if you want to see photos, flipweekly.com. And if you don't want to do that, don't worry. You're going to be able to see it all very soon. But in the meantime, we have 41 lots. I've listed them up as lots. We have a combined total, everything, $2,495. Now, again, a lot of these items have never showed up on the market before. So these are, some of them are just guesses. I've just guessed with some of them. You know, stickers, for example, I have it down for $10 as a guess. If somebody really wants this stuff, they could pay a lot more. Same with the chip packet cutouts. I put them down as $10. They could be worth a lot more because you would be the only cunt with them. I tried to be really conservative with these estimates, like the smaller things. I've all marked them down, $10, whatever. I'm sure though, if you lotted them up together, you could ask for like $100. There's like a green Goosebumps spoon that I didn't even put a price on because it's like, well, it's a spoon. It's like a green glow in the dark spoon. You don't just put that down on its own itemized item, right? Like it's a spoon. Who's going to fucking buy that? But I'm not going to do any of this lotting up together. I'm not going to deal with any of this shit because you know me, I like a bit of fun. I love to gamble. So what are we going to do? It's not a single eBay auction, that's for sure. We tried that before with the Sarah J. Maas books. We sold books that were worth probably between $500 to $1,000. I think the finished ending price was like, $300. We're going to do something that is probably, could be a bit more risky than an eBay auction, but this is going to be really fucking fun. We're trying something fun. I'm craving something new, something exciting. I have sent this entire collection to Melbourne. Why to Melbourne? I'm sending it to Erin and Mitchell from Retro Rescuers, and they're going to host a 90s Goosebumps show and whatnot. And I'm doing this for 3 reasons, right? Primarily, it's a bit of fun. The second reason is, as much as I love this sort of shit, I love the nostalgia, this is going to get rid of everything all at once. It's going to get rid of the entire collection, and it's going to do it quickly. And third, Aaron and Mitchell, they host these amazing, exciting whatnot shows. I know they're going to make us some really good money. Now, when I was speaking to them, of course, they're reiterating, it's whatnot, it's an auction. It may not get the full eBay price, and I know that. I'm not expecting to get the $2,495, whatever the fuck the amount was. I'm probably not even expecting to get half of that. But this is going to be fun. We paid $100 in total for this entire lot. So anything above that and above the $40 shipping fee, which is unusually cheap for a big, heavy Bunnings box full of Goosebumps shit, is going to be a win for me. And with everything happening here at Flip Weekly, everything going on behind the scenes, including the upcoming biggest reseller flip of all time, the thing that I've been teasing you about for weeks, this is just one less thing to worry about. So if you're unfamiliar with the Whatnot platform, if you listen or if you watch or if you read reseller content, you will know it's a live selling marketplace. Whatnot is everywhere here in Australia at the moment. Think an eBay auction, except it's hosted by content creators and they auction off their items in real time. Now, I have been careful with who I tell Whatnot about because to the wrong person, this could get severely addictive. Now, if you haven't ever used Whatnot before, you can join the platform now. You can use my referral link. And if you use the link, which is in the description right now, you can receive a 100% free credit of between $10 and $200. Now, I haven't read the terms and conditions. I'm sure there's going to be something there, meaning like you have to make a purchase, spend money. I don't fucking know. I just know that Whatnot has said, if I give you this link, you'll receive between $10 and $200. Sounds like a fucking scam, right? But it's 100% legit. Just click the link, sign up, and you'll be ready to go on Whatnot. Just don't spend all your fucking money on other shows. You're going to need to wait. because the show isn't going to be 6 months' time, 3 months' time. No, I like to move quickly. We have the auction going to be before August 16th. It's going to be quick, man. It's going to be within the next 2 weeks. I'm going to keep you updated on social media, so make sure you follow Flip Weekly on all social media. You can subscribe to the newsletter if you want to be updated there. The other thing you can do is you can go on Whatnot right now after signing up through the referral link and search and follow Retro Rescuers directly on Whatnot. That's so you don't miss the auction date. They're going to put up all of the items. You can see everything that was within this massive collectible haul. You can pre-bid. You can get alerted when something that you want is about to be auctioned off, and you can watch it on the app. You can cast it to your TV. I know that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sitting on the lounge with my girl watching Erin and Mitchell make me fucking money. And that's what this is all about, making some fucking money. This was an amazing deal. I cannot believe that we're able to score this much shit. And we weren't even quick. An hour after it was live on Facebook Marketplace. You can continue hunting for video games on Marketplace and miss out because you replied at 3 minutes after it's been live instead of 1 minute. Or you can try and find these niches where you can make some money. Yes, we did luck out with all of these collectibles, but even if we didn't, we would have turned that $100 into $580. It was based on a gamble. Now, I'm not saying to you, go out and gamble with items. Use your own intuition. Take a few risks. The only way you're going to be able to make money is if you take fucking risks. And that's going to be the what I bought part of this podcast. There were a few other things that I picked up throughout the week, but really I'm not even going to bother to get into them because I was just so excited about this Goosebumps pickup. And they all pale in comparison. Yes, they're worth $100, trying to keep that average sale price high, but they're just not as exciting. So I'm not even going to bother. And we're just going to move on to what I sold. Now, I probably shouldn't be calling this what I sold because this should be what got stolen. What got stolen from me this week? So here's the thing. I picked up this Holy Grail WWE action figure playset at the beginning of February. I got it from Vinnie's. I paid $5 for it. And whilst the box was open, everything inside of it was brand new and sealed. So I'm talking about the wrestling figures inside, still within their plastic, all of the stickers still on their sticker sheet. And this playset was of the Hell in a Cell. Now that's wrestling inside of a steel cage. I'm sure you would have seen it in some sort of pop culture reference, right? WWE fans on Reddit, on social media have called this the Holy Grail item or a Holy Grail item. It's not being made anymore. It's from 2007. So I was able to list it up on eBay at the time for $500 and Marketplace for $450. So on Friday, I received a message from somebody on Marketplace and they said that they needed a last minute gift for their son's birthday. And when she's talking to me, she's writing out paragraphs and she's like over explaining herself. And I thought like maybe she's just a chatterbox or maybe she's attempting, some sort of scam. And okay, I'm going to read this to you so that you can get a better understanding. She said to me in a message, "Are you negotiable?" And of course, I said, "I'm open to reasonable offers." And then she writes out a fucking paragraph to me saying, and I quote, "Okay, let me see what I've got in my account. I need a gift for my son. Last minute, someone was supposed to bring a signed framed picture thing when they traveled to Sydney today, but they forgot. I'm only in Canterbury, so could pick up soon. But please, if someone else messages, can you please let me know and I'll speed up the process of money collecting, LOL. Very funny. So from there, she asked me to hold the item, and I do what I usually do, and I sort of ask if they're 100% committed. And I know this doesn't mean anything, but subconsciously, if they say they're 100% committed, maybe they'll fucking fully commit to something. I've had somebody say this to me before. This hasn't worked for me every single time. I said, "Are you 100% committed?" They said yes. They never show up. Then the next day they say, "Can I come out?" And I'm like, "Well, are you 110% committed? Like, what the fuck, man?" So I say, if you're a 100%, I'll mark it as pending and remove it from eBay. Just let me know. Again, I don't want to remove something from eBay when it has watches, when it has views. One of those cunts might buy it. So she says to me, and I quote, "I am 100,000%. Now she's used zeros there. If you could see my search history, the whole last month has been for this or an elimination chamber, which is just another WWE playset. Again, she said, LOL, very funny. So I'm sure with about 6 exclamation marks and would absolutely be grateful if that time is okay. And I said, all good, I'll do that now. I give her my address and I said to check in tomorrow with an exact time. Now again, I don't usually give out my address the day before, but because this was an expensive item, I just wanted her to feel a bit more committed. When you give out the address, they know where you live. Maybe she'll definitely come out. I probably shouldn't have done that, but who cares, right? She says, amazing, thank you. So the Saturday rolls around, the day she's supposed to come, and I haven't heard from her at all in the morning. So I sent a message at about 2 p.m. because I'm wanting to confirm a time. Like, I don't want to sit around all fucking day waiting for this person. And she replies, before 6? Question mark. And I say that's fine. So 6 p.m. rolls around. I get a message from her. She says, sorry I'm so late. Can I send you $100 now so you know I'm serious, and pick up around 10 p.m.? And then she makes up an excuse saying, sorry, I have to be in St. Andrews at 7. If not, I'll change something around somewhere, but if that's possible, that would be great. Now, obviously, I am somebody that is awake at all hours of the night. So I said, that's good, that's fine. I'm home all night. I'll be here. 10 p.m. is late, but it's not, getting murdered late. So she says, thank you so much. I'm definitely coming. And you'll never guess what happens next. 10 p.m. comes around and she sends through another message saying, hi, what is the latest I can come? Sorry, had the birthday party at bowling and tried telling a bunch of kids we needed to leave, but I was extremely outnumbered, ha ha. Again, very fucking funny. So I reply, all good, what time are you thinking? Then she messages me at 10:35 and I'm like, I'm sort of getting a bit antsy because I'm in limbo mode. Do I go to bed? Do I stay up? She says, I'm just leaving Campbelltown now. Have to take my son home to Canterbury, then can come out, or is the morning an option? Again, 10:35 p.m. And she's saying to me she needs to do all of these little errands. Like, she needs to do all these tasks. By the time she comes out, it's going to be over midnight, over that murder time. And I'll tell you what, I am not meeting somebody from the internet at midnight. Are you fucking kidding me? Now, you may have heard me talk about my magic freezer before. It's a chest freezer in my garage. The freezer isn't on, and I leave items in there, and they magically turn into cash through the power of Facebook Marketplace. So I do that with this WWE playset. I send the lady through directions. I send her instructions and photos so she can find this thing. I think, she must have a fucking death wish if she's going to go into my dark garage after midnight. What are you fucking doing, man? So she replies at 11:30 saying, you are an absolute legend. I'll probably come and get it at some ridiculous hour in between blowing up balloons. LOL. Fucking funny. Thank you so much. I'll transfer most likely and send you the screenshot or leave the cash like you said. Thanks again. All right. So I go to bed. I'm not too worried about it. I've left things out for people all the time. And then I wake up to a message on the Sunday. She says to me, this is unprompted by the way, picked it up at some ridiculous time, thank you, have sent the payment, but I think Commonwealth Bank, held it for 24 hours. I'm sorry. They usually do when it's a bigger amount. Again, thank you so much. My son just opened it and loved it. My first thought is, why didn't you use Osco or PayID or one of those instant transfer things? It's 2026. Payments aren't usually held for 24 hours, especially when she says it's a bigger amount. It's $450. You're not sending over $10,000. You send through $450 and it gets taken out instantly, right? I'm not familiar with CommBank. I don't have a Commonwealth Bank account, but I'm pretty sure there would be an option to send me my money instantly, right? So I reply to her saying, I'm glad he liked it. I don't fucking care. Do you happen to have a payment receipt? That was at 9:48 in the morning. I don't hear anything all day, and I'm thinking, I'm making up excuses for her. It's her son's birthday. She might be partying with the kid. I don't know how old the kid is. And then 7 p.m. rolls around, and I said, hi, I still haven't received anything. Can you send through proof payment was made? Thanks. So this kid is enjoying my fucking item. I'm not enjoying any fucking cash. What is going on? She sends me through proof, and it appears to be that she's scheduled a payment for the Monday. And again, it's 2026. Why not send it through instantly? Why are you scheduling it for Monday? So Monday rolls around. I know this story is getting a bit long. I'll try and tidy it up a bit. Monday comes along, 6 p.m. I'm waiting all day. I say to her, I still haven't received payment. And she replies to me, really? It's left my account. Let me double check 1 second. Yeah, it's definitely out of my account. If it doesn't go in overnight, I'll call the bank first thing tomorrow. And worst case scenario, I'll bring you cash and then you can transfer back to me when it processes. This is a bit weird. This is getting a bit weird. The whole I'll call my bank thing, I feel like that's a very scammy thing. Who calls their bank? You know? It just doesn't seem right to me. It is possible that this might be a delay from going from like her CommBank to my bank account. But I'm just thinking, nah, man, like something isn't adding up. And Tuesday comes around. Does it arrive on Tuesday? It doesn't. I waited until Tuesday midday and there's nothing. So what are we thinking, man? Like, I haven't gotten anything as of Tuesday evening. Is it a fucking scam? Is it a late payment? Transfer between banks taking multiple days? Like, the weirdest part though, if it is a scam, I haven't been blocked. So I'm not fully set on a scam. She does take a while to respond to messages, and she is an oversharer. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be getting $450 for this playset. I don't know if we're going to have to track it down and break some knees. But the worst part is that I am going to hear it from everyone saying, why the fuck did you leave out such an expensive item for somebody to come and pick up? And look, the Magic Freezer has never let me down before. It's magic, man. It can't let you down. So that's what happened, man. That's what happened with this first item that's supposedly sold. I still haven't gotten paid, so I don't know, man. I really don't know. What do you think? If you've listened to this so far and you heard this entire conversation play out, do you think she's biding time, or you think I've copped a fucking scam? But anyway, we should actually move on to some real sales that I've gotten paid for, right? And the first one is, whenever you see VHS tapes out in the wild, you should always check them out. When I'm looking at them, I'm looking for anything unusual, and this first item certainly ticked the box. It was 3 VHS tapes of a show called Aeon Flux, and when I Google that, it appears it's an animated television show from back in the 90s, but that isn't the first thing that Google tells me. The very first thing Google tells me about the show Aeon Flux, it says Aeon Flux is the heroine in the sexy and futuristic cartoon. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of those types of cartoons. I've never seen the show before. I don't think I'll ever watch it. But the tape, when I picked it up, had no mold. The comps were good. The bundle sold. I picked it up for $13. It sold for $89.96. Pretty close to $100. And I think that weird sale price was due to a sale, even though I don't remember running a sale this week. So I don't know what's going on with that. I should probably check that out. But that would have brought my average sale price down. We're trying to keep it high. So how do you get that ASP back up again? You sell really expensive items just like this one. And it was crazy because it sold in just 10 days. And this is an ultra rare Matthias Verkel model airplane. And I only just talked to you about this the other day. It had no stand. It had what looked like tobacco stains all over it. Yet one of those rich aviation cunts in Germany have picked it up, and they have paid $500 plus $70 postage. They've paid so much money for this model airplane. And remember, I left like 3 of these things behind. I'm sort of wishing I picked them up even though they were broken. But you know what? That $500 sale, it pales in comparison to what I'm going to tell you about in August or September or October, whenever it comes around, for the biggest reseller flip of all time. Nothing's ever going to touch it. I know I'm never going to sell something that expensive again. I really can't wait to tell you about it. I know I've been teasing you for the past couple of weeks. Things are still moving. Everything really is just paling in comparison to it. But anyway, we've been doing so well with all of these finds. Like $500 find, and it gets what, like 60 seconds on the podcast. It doesn't even get to feature as like the podcast heading. But that's just how much luck we've been having in the thrift stores. Anyway, moving on. Type of book that I'm always telling you to buy. Anytime you see The Art Of followed by like a pop culture film or a video game or whatever, chances are it's an expensive coffee table type book. And this one that sold was The Art of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire. Now this one was $6 into $53.95. I'm not really surprised that it didn't sell for like crazy money because it's volume 2. You know, if you get volume 1 and volume 2 together, I'm looking at a sold comp right here of $160. So you're going to be wanting to pick up those Art Of books, man. And the next sale, I guess it's because I was running a sale. And again, I don't even remember running a sale. A Pokemon game, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire for the 3DS, sold for $76.46. We have another one, which is, looks like a sale item. A Polly Pocket out the door, $40. This is bringing the average sale price down, man. Really should be getting rid of these items. But something else that we picked up in a bundle sold for decent money that brings our ASP back up. It's the 1995 Meko Shark from Street Sharks. It was 100% complete. It was working. It had tight joints. And the only difference between this guy being worth, just $20 versus what I sold it for is a little plastic mask on his face. That's what happens with these old vintage toys. If they're missing one thing, value drops. If it's complete, value high. So I sold this for $250. So somebody within Australia has spent $250 on, an action figure on a Street Shark. Crazy, but it's really fucking cool. So kudos to them for having that money to be able to spend it on a toy in 2026 when the world is really fucked up, right? But that's all I've got for you this week. It's a bit shorter than usual, but make sure you follow Flip Weekly on social media to stay updated with that Goosebumps Whatnot show. And remember, if you haven't signed up to Whatnot, do so by clicking the link in the description. You're going to get a random amount of money, just completely free money. I know it sounds scammy, but that's Whatnot. It's legit. If you sign up with the link, you'll get between $10 and $200 to spend on the platform. Maybe you can buy one of these cool Goosebumps things. If you want to see any photos from items that I've talked about in this podcast episode, go to flipweekly.com, check out the newsletter. I'll be posting videos on social media too. So like I said, follow us on social media. Thank you again for listening. I'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Flip, 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 Flip Weekly.